Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 18th December 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So let us see the first image. So what is this image? So it is appearing on wall, right? So what is this image? So can you relate it with any traditional or official dance forms or classical dance forms of India? So actually this painting is related to murals. It is an example of one kind of painting, that is mural painting. And next one is, so the image which is depicted, it is related to Kathakali. Okay, so from which subject you will be seeing these murals? From GS paper 1 under art and culture, you will be studying about different kind of paintings. So paintings tradition, it had been started in our old Stone Age period. That means during this Paleolithic era itself, this Stone Age had been started. Oh, sorry, this painting tradition had been started. At that time, early man used to paint like the things which they do at that time, like hunting, like dancing, everything they used to paint on the walls of the caves. So this is the first kind of painting that we can see, that is painting on walls of the caves. So after that, there is a lot of tradition of this painting that came evolved. For example, we have like painting that had been seen during this IVC period is different from that of this Paleolithic paintings. And later on, they started paintings on walls. It is called as mural paintings. And even in Ajanta, Ellora and Bagh caves also we can see this mural paintings. And after this, you can see like miniature paintings. It was a trend during this Mughal period. And after this, this Europeans, they advented India. So they came to India. Again, a new tradition of painting that had been started. So whenever you are reading this paintings chapter in your art and culture, you have to see early paintings, that is in your ancient period, and you have to see paintings in modern period. So in 2019 prelims, there was a question regarding paintings of Jahangir. Okay, so especially you have to focus on Mughal ruler paintings, like how this painting tradition had been started during this Mughals and which ruler patronized which kind of paintings. Actually, Jahangir, he focused on natural painting, and this painting which had been reached heights during this Jahangir time. After that, here during Shah Jahan time, he used extensive silver and as well as gold, so that the naturalistic painting had been reduced during this Jahangir period. So like that, what happened to these paintings? And one more thing here is, you might be knowing about this Aurangzeb, right? So Aurangzeb, he was strictly against painting. So till that time, in this Mughal courts, who were the painters who were present? So suddenly after this Aurangzeb came into power, he was strictly against this painting. At that time, so who are this court painters? So they used to go to different places. Okay, and they start the painting traditions in the regional levels. So that led to rise of regional painting schools. Okay, regional schools of painting, you have to see that as well. For example, Tanjore school, for example, Mysore school, like that. We have different regional schools. So all these things that you have to see, and even you have to focus on this modern paintings. Influence of Portuguese, influence of Britain, influence of French, and as well as Dutch. And you have to see famous painters during that time. So all these are the things that you have to see from this chapter of paintings from your art and culture. And apart from this, you have to see about even this Kathakali. So this Kathakali you will be also seeing in this chapter called as dances. And this is also under art and culture. And you have two types of dance forms. One is official dances or classical dances, and second one is folk dances. So in this classical dance forms, we have 8 dance forms. For example, we have Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathak, Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, Satriya, Manipuri and Odissi. And you have to see what are the key features of that dance forms and from which state they had been originated. Okay, so here you may get question regarding this dance forms, and especially you will be getting even question from the folk dances. So here you have to make a list of folk dance name, and you have to see to which state it belongs to, and you have to see important features of that folk dance. So they may give like consider the following pairs, and they will give the pair, one pair they will be giving the name, state and features, and they will be asking which of the following pairs are correct or incorrect. So you have to be prepared for that. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this. What is this murals? Mural is any piece of artwork that is painted or applied directly on wall. Okay, entire full wall will be present with that painting. That kind of large paintings is called as murals. And actually this mural art also appear on the ceilings of the house or any other large permanent surface. Okay, so that is the thing. And next one here is in India, yes, mural paintings are very famous, and they are made up of, they are mainly made on the walls of caves and as well as palaces. So you have to remember important caves where we have these mural paintings, that is Ajanta, Ellora, and in Bagh cave and Sataniversal cave. So in these caves, we can see this tradition of mural paintings. And in the old scripts and as well as literature also, we are having evidence of this mural paintings. For example, in Vinaya Pitaka. In Vinaya Pitaka also, we have a note on this mural paintings. Yeah, see this article. Seeds of short neck clam released in Ashtamudi Lake to replenish population. So what is the keyword here? Ashtamudi Lake, yes. So what happened in this Ashtamudi Lake? So tell me some basic facts that you know about this Ashtamudi Lake. Ashtamudi Lake is in which state? Yes, in state of Kerala. So what is happening in this lake? Yes, pollution because of not plastic exactly. I said one important problem that had been found in this Ashtamudi Lake. Biological waste. There is increasing of biologic waste. Biological waste pollution is happening. As you all know that in each and every cell we have DNA, so which is composed of nitrogen and phosphorus. So because of this, there is increasing of nitrogen and phosphorus concentration in this water, that is leading to algal blooms. So because of this biological waste pollution, there is increasing of death of fishes. Okay, there is increasing of death of fishes which is happening in this Ashtamudi Lake now. So because of this, at that time, we studied one important keyword. What is that? We are going for sea ranching. So what is the sea ranching? Just recall this term. Sea ranching is called as sea ranching. So we are taking small seedlings of fish and we are living in that region so that that will be grown in that wild population. So that is called as ranching, right? So we are taking seedlings of this fish species and we are going to leave them in this Ashtamudi Lake so that we will be compensating this fish population in that region, right? So this article is saying that government is now releasing seeds of short neck clam. It is a fish species and they are releasing the seedlings of this fish in this Ashtamudi Lake so that they will replenish the population of this fish species in that water. Okay, so here you have to know about ranching. So the word which is given in this article here is ranching. Actually, government is taking some steps to revitalize population of the fishes in this lake, and they are going for sea ranching. And actually, this sea ranching is part of one important scheme, that is Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Okay, Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So here you have to know about this Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana as well. So see some basic facts regarding this scheme. What is this scheme about? What are the features of this scheme and which ministry is implementing that scheme? whether it is a centrally sponsored scheme or central sector scheme, all these things that you have to remember. Okay, so already it is an old issue only. Okay, see another article here. Report flags India's violation of rights of Rohingya detainees. So what is the keyword here? Rohingyas. So who are these Rohingyas? They are persecuted minority people from Myanmar. Rohingya are persecuted minority from Myanmar. So in which state of Myanmar? Rakhine state. Rakhine state of Myanmar. So they belongs to which community? Yes, they belongs to Muslim community. So what is the issue here is, so this article is saying that there is one report. That report name is Azadi Project. Actually, this is a US registered non-profit organization. So this US based non-profit organization which released a report that yes, there is human rights violation is happening in India, especially regarding these communities of Rohingyas. Okay, now let us analyze this topic. So do you know what is the CAA? Citizenship Amendment Act of, yes, 2019. What it says, we are going to provide citizenship for how many communities? 6 communities. They are nothing but Hindus, Buddhists, Parsis, Sikhs, Jains, Christians. But there is no Muslim community. So they came from which countries? Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So people who came from these countries belonging to these communities, they will be getting citizenship. But what about these Rohingyas? They belongs to Muslim country, Muslim community. So will there is any provision of covering this Myanmar under this? No, there is no provision of covering Myanmar under this CAA, and they belongs to even Muslim community. So government is not providing citizenship for this Rohingya community. Is that clear? And one more important point here is, so they are persecuted minority people. They came from Myanmar because of, what is the reason why they came out of? Okay, so they became now refugees, but what was the reason behind this issue in Myanmar? Okay, Myanmar is a Buddhist occupied country. Okay, so what? Okay, so these people, they don't want to join Buddhism. Okay, so especially army community made issues on these people, and they came out of this in fear of saving of their life. Okay, so actually this article is saying that a report by Azadi Project and Refugees International, which is US based non-profit organization, that is NGO, it said that yes, human rights violations happening against Rohingya detainees in India. So can you tell me, is there any fundamental right which is protecting from arbitrary detention? We have Article 20, right? 20, which talks about arbitrary detection. So actually, do all fundamental rights are given to everyone, both foreigners and Indians? So which are the fundamental rights which cannot be given for foreigners in India? Article 15, 16, 20, 21, right? So here arbitrary detention, it is a fundamental right which is given only for Indian citizens. That is Article 20 is available for only Indians. It will be not available for this foreigners. So actually these Rohingyas are foreigners, right? They came from other country, that is Myanmar. So here this report is saying that they are having or they are facing human rights violation in India. And actually they are also facing very poor living conditions in our country. So because of this report which urged Indian government to release vulnerable detainees, and as well as India need to align with refugee policies with international standards. So why we will be following that? India didn't sign any refugee convention so far. So it is not obliged on India to follow these refugee policies, that too with international standards. Okay, so now let us see the key points which are given in this article. The first one here is, this report is saying that there are some systemic nature of rights violation which is happening against this Rohingya community. And actually in India, there is no proper international human rights standards we are following. So because of this, what happened, if some other country NGO which is releasing this kind of report, then what happened? So what about the reputation soft power of India? Obviously it will be get affected. So this article is saying that it will be having impact on India's reputation globally. And next one here is, there are around 6, not 8 detainees. They are lacking ongoing court cases, and this report is highlighting that there is arbitrary nature of the detention, which is raising questions about legal frameworks. And next one here is, if this report is circulated, it will also leads to international scrutiny, and international organizations and international different countries, they will be pushing force on India to have to take some reforms. So this will be in the future. And next one here is, it will be also having impact on the vulnerable groups, especially if there is any refugees or any migration or any disaster. So certain groups are vulnerable, like women and children. So here this article is also saying that presence of pregnant women, children, and especially differently abled individuals, they are vulnerable to this situation now. So government need to take some steps to provide safety for these vulnerable sections of society. And this one here is, this report is also saying that we have to provide proper living conditions so that we can enhance human rights. Okay, so whenever we are providing safety and security of the people, then we can ensure long-term physical and as well as mental health problems can be controlled. If there is increasing of mental health problems, obviously it will be having impact on the safety of the society itself. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said, and if some people are forcibly separated, if they are keeping under the jails, means what happened? The people will be getting separated from their families. So because of this, the principles of the family unity and as a social institutions, the family will be getting affected. So this is the thing which mainly given by this article. Yeah, series topic. Committee suggests statutory MSP, says it can help end farmer suicides. So this article is talking about statutory MSP. Statutory MSP is nothing but legal MSP. So what is MSP? Minimum support price. MSP is minimum support price. So this article is demanding for a law regarding MSP. Okay, so in which subject you will be dealing with this MSP? In GS paper 3 under economy, you will be studying about this concept of MSP. So what is this MSP? MSP is nothing but before sowing of a crop, government will be declaring price for the food crops. That is called as MSP. As of now, government will be declaring MSP for 23 crops, and you have to know for which crops this MS will be given, because in 2018 in your prelims the question was, so consider the following crops, for which crops MSP is provided by the government. So you have to know about for which crops MSP is given by the government. Okay, now here you have to see about why people are demanding this MSP, and you have to see about what are the challenges involved in implementing of this legal MSP, and you have to see what are the advantages of this MSP. So whenever government is declaring this MSP before sowing itself, it will be helpful for the farmer to take a decision regarding which crop they can grow. That means it will be helpful for informed decision making. So you have to write this kind of keywords in your answer. Informed decision making. And next one is, whenever farmers are growing that will helpful for increasing of agriculture productivity, so that what happens? There will be ensuring of food security, and there will be decreasing of loss of the farmers, and government can ensure income security for farmers. So this is the one important area that you have to focus. Apart from this, this article also saying that we have one scheme called as PM Kisan scheme. So it is a central sector scheme under which government will be providing 6,000 rupees of financial support for a farmer. Okay, so this article is saying that we have to increase this 6,000 to 12,000 rupees. So now tell me, whenever government is increasing the financial assistance to the farmers, what will be the advantage? So advantage will be like farmers will be having some income, right? So that they will be going for investing in input cost. So whenever they are having money in their hand, so they will be not going to the money lenders or any other informal sources to get money at a higher interest of rate. And next one here is, whenever they are getting money from the government as an assistance, they will go for increasing of agriculture productivity. So whenever there is increasing of agriculture productivity, there will be increasing of food security. And even we can decrease suicides of the farmers. And we can ensure income security for the farmer. Okay, so like this we have various advantages because of this increasing of this price from 6 to 12,000 rupees. And this article you will be studying not only from GS paper 3 under economy, but even you have a chance of studying under GS paper 1 under society, and next one is GS paper 2 under governance point of view. And my sincere request is just go through this scheme called as PM Kisan. So who are eligible, what are the advantages, what are the challenges we are having, okay? So those things that you have to see. Okay, now let us see the context why it is in news. Here, Standing Committee of Parliament on Agriculture recommended that, yes, we need legally guaranteed MSP. Okay, we need statutory MSP, that is legally guaranteed minimum support price for the crops, so that it will be helpful for ending of farmer suicides. So why there is increasing of farmer suicides in India? So let us analyze those reasons. You all know that farmer suicides is happening in India. So what is the important reason? So what are the reasons for this suicide? The first one here is, whenever they want to start growing something or sowing something, they need input cost. If they are not having proper documents, like for example land records or anything, so they will be not getting institutionalized credit, right? So they will be not able to go to banks to get loans at a very low cost. So whenever they are not having this institutionalized credit, then what they'll do, they'll go for some other sources like money lenders. So money lenders, they will be giving money at a very high interest rate. Interest rate is very high. So that will lead to the increasing of debt. Okay, increasing of debt of farmers. So this is the one important reason. And if there is any untimely rainfall or because of climate change, what happens? Obviously agriculture productivity will be reduced. So whenever there is agriculture productivity reduced, then what happens? Income they are getting will be also reduced. Income will be reduced. So because of this, it is also an important reason for this farmers to get suicides. And next one is, as you all know that in agriculture we have subsistence agriculture. That means whatever the food produced by that farmer is enough for only for their consumption, so that they will be not going for selling of their agriculture produce. So because of the subsistence agriculture also, it is one of the reason for suicides of farmer. And next important reason here is, whenever they are going for money lender or financiers, they are offering for a very high cost of interest rate. Okay, so because of this, debt burden is also one important reason. And next one is, farmer, if you go to any agriculture family, so entire family will be involved in this agricultural activities. So do this agriculture will provide employment throughout year? No. So because of this, there will be unemployment. So because of this unemployment, there is decreasing of entire family productivity. Okay, these are the some important reasons. And even now you can add this monsoon seasons, climate change. Okay, so all those are important reasons. And one more thing here is whenever they are taking their produce to APMC mandis, or APMC markets, we have intermediate person. We have a middleman. So this middleman will be taking commission. So because of this, the income will be reduced for this farmer. It is also an important reason for this farmer suicide. And these problems need to be addressed. So this article is saying that if they are having this legally guaranteed minimum support price, so directly farmer will be selling their produce to the government at the price which is given by the government, so that the income will be increased. So whenever the income of this farmer will be increased, obviously we can reduce this farmer suicide. So this is a thing which mainly said in this article. And this panel also suggested that under this PM Kisan scheme, so what are the amount which is given by the government? Central government is like 6,000 rupees, that can be increased to 12,000 rupees. And even one more important point which is suggested in this scheme here is, so this scheme is given for the farmers who are owning the land, but the tenants and as well as agricultural laborers, they are excluded. So this panel is saying that even this tenant farmers and as well as laborers, they have to include it in that scheme. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said. So here one of the important advantage of this legal MSP is we can provide financial stability, we can promote rural economic growth, and as well as we can enhance food security, so that it will be overall helpful for the livelihood of the farmers. So this is the thing which mainly said. Okay, now let us try to see about some facts regarding this, what is MSP and how this MSP will be calculated. So MSP is nothing but minimum support price which will be declared by the government before sowing of crops. So who will be recommending this? CACP will be recommending that, and who will be announcing this? CCEA, that is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, will be announcing that. So how this MSP will be calculated? We have a formula, and you have to note down this formula, that is A2 plus FL plus C2. So what is A2? A2 is nothing but input cost. For example, if farmer need to start farming, he need to make the land perfect, and he has to bring the seeds, he have to use some fertilizers, he have to use some pesticides, he have to make arrangements for proper water or irrigation facilities. So for all these, whatever the input cost which is incurred by the farmer is called as A2. And next one is FL. FL is nothing but, as I said, in a farming community, entire family members will be depending on that farming itself, right? So because of this, most of the time this family labor is unpaid. So here, because of this, here unpaid family labor is also included in that, that is FL. Next one is C2. C2 is nothing but more comprehensive cost. For example, it also considers some rentals and as well as other interest or any other capital interest, everything will be included under this C2. So why there is now demand by the people for this legal MSP? It is a one important question. So as you all know that government is providing MSP for 23 crops in India. So each and every farmer is not benefiting from that. Okay, so farmers across India, they often receive prices for their crops which is below compared to that of officially declared MSP. Since MSP is lagging legal backing, so farmers, they cannot enforce these prices as a right. So if there is any law, based on that law, farmer can fight. If there is no law, how the farmers can fight for that? So this is the one important problem. And next one here is, here the government's actual purchase of these crops at this MSP also very low. So government is announcing MSP, so people are going for sowing of that crops, but is that entire produce is taken by the government? No, only the little amount is taken by the government. So the remaining amount, obviously these farmers, they have to sell in the APMC market, where there is a problem of middlemen, they are not getting the proper prices. So this, because of these two reasons, now here people are demanding for legal MSP. So what are the challenges here? The first one is, if you want to go for legalizing of this MSP, we are having some problems. So especially it will deter private traders from participating. So whenever there is excess production here, so people will go to normal APMC markets and they will be selling. So there we have private traders. If government is providing this legal MSP, everyone wants to sell that produce to the government. Then this private traders will be decreasing. So that what happen, obviously there is decreasing of market prices and market fluctuations will be happening. And next one here is legalizing of MSP also leads to the increasing of corruption and as well as improper distribution or even diversion of crops from warehouses, ration shops, etc. will happen. So black marketing will happen. And next one here is while selling the cereals and pulses through this PDS system, it's okay. So government is buying this pulses, wheat, rice from this farmers at MSP and they are using under this PDS. So what happens if some crops will be not given under this PDS? For example, copra is there. For example, like sesame and as well as niger seeds, safflower seeds. So these cannot be utilized by the normal people every day. So because of this, there is also one important problem regarding the legalizing of this MSP. And next one here is whenever if the MSP is high compared to the market price, then what happen? So everyone will be selling that food produced at that MSP. MSP is very high. So because of this, obviously it will leads to inflation in the market. So whenever there is inflation, the purchasing power of this people will be decreased and will further affect malnutrition, hunger, right? So these are the some important problems. And even one more important problem here is if MSP is high, if you're going for exporting, so do our products will be competitive in the international market? No. Again, our imports will be get affected because of this legalizing of MSP. Clear? Okay, now let us see next article. It is about scientists develop Kisan Kavach to help farmers. So as you all know that during COVID-19 pandemic, we have PPE kits, that is personal protective equipment kits. So, you know, I think you might be knowing about that image. You can imagine that image, that is everyone is in this blue colored suit. Even hands will be not visible, even eyes, face is completely covered, right? So the same way, this kind of PPE kits are also very essential for the farmers because especially farmers, whenever they are spraying pesticides, there is a chance of getting that pesticides entering into their mouth, nose, and as well as eyes, etc. It is very, very dangerous because they are very harmful chemicals, right? So because of this, now scientists, they are developing anti-pesticide suit. And the name of this anti-pesticide suit is Kisan Kavach. So it is very helpful for protecting of farm laborers, especially while they are spraying pesticides. Okay, because pesticides are having potential neurotoxins. It is very detriment to this health. So because of this, they are coming up with this Kisan Kavach. So you may get a question like, what is this Kisan Kavach which is recently in news? It is anti-pesticide suit. Okay, and let us see the next topic. Stuck in the classroom, students, teachers, NEP 2020. So actually in 2020, we came up with a reform in our education through this National Education Policy 2020. So but many states, they didn't properly implemented this NEP at full-fledged level. Only in some states they implemented. So here you have to see about what is this NEP, what are the advantages and disadvantages. Already we had discussions in our earlier classes regarding this NEP clearly. Okay, let us see the next topic. It is about the legal gaps in India's unregulated AI surveillance. So this article is talking about AI surveillance in India. So because of development in science and technology, there is increased use of AI, right? So not only using of AI, but even controlling of AI is very important. So this article is saying that there is no proper regulation of AI in India. So here they took a case study of European Union. European Union came up with a strong legislation or regulation of AI. In the same way, India needs to come up with this kind of regulations so that we can ensure data privacy of the people. So that is the thing which mainly said. And this topic is important from GS paper to under governance and even from GS paper to under international relations. Okay, now let us see what author is saying clearly. So here India is having an ambition of development of AI in India, and India wants to become world's largest AI powered surveillance system. But we are having some legal and as well as constitutional issues. Because as you all know that right to privacy is a fundamental right which said by Supreme Court in KS Puttaswamy judgment in 2017 itself. But if you are using this AI, if you are using any application, they are asking what data, right? So whenever you are giving the access to data, obviously it is having impact on the privacy. So because of increasing of science and development, we are having a problem called as how to ensure right to privacy of the people, how to ensure the data which collected will be used for only good means. So now here this article said that even in India, we came up with this Digital Personal Data Protection Act in year 2023. But even governments overreach and there is lack of safeguards which is happening. So because of this, we are having lot of concerns regarding this protection of data in our country. Okay, so here this article is saying that yes, European Union came up with a very stricter regulation on AI surveillance. So here in the same way, India can also take certain steps to address these legal gaps. So let us see the points. So the first important point you have to remember is Supreme Court recognized right to privacy as a fundamental right, and the case is KS Puttaswamy case. KS Puttaswamy versus Union of India 2017. So in this case, Supreme Court said that right to privacy is a fundamental right. Whenever if we are recognized anything as a fundamental right, it is now the responsibility of government to safeguard the civil liberties. So here government need to take some steps regarding intrusive surveillance technologies as well. So now here there are some cause of concerns, that is there is no proper protection of citizens' right which is happening in India. And even one more thing here is recently we passed Digital Data Protection Act also in 2023. But here there are some exemptions. That exemption into the misuse of this data, particularly in this AI surveillance. So we need more legal framework so that we can prioritize individual rights over this government power. And next one here is we have to ensure data transparency. Data, whatever the data we are collecting, so we have to be transparent. So people need to be known, like why the data is collected by this organization, what they will do, everything. And next one is if we are not having the proper safeguards, then what happens? So can we ensure data privacy? No, right? So here it will be violating this right to privacy if we are not having the potential safeguards. Okay, and here this article is saying that we have to learn from the global standards. Like European Union also came up with this AI regulation. Okay, so in the same way, we have to implement that kind of stricter laws in our country. That's it. And next article here is the challenge of universal health coverage. So here we have to focus on this concept called as universal health coverage. Okay, so what is this universal health coverage? What are the advantages, disadvantages? And you have to see about especially what are the challenges in implementing of this universal health coverage. So if we want to provide health insurance for each and every person of our country, what happens? That will lead to increasing of economic burden on the government. And even if you are increasing this health insurance also, so can we improve this infrastructure development? So if you're not focusing on this healthcare infrastructure, obviously that will lead to increasing of out of pocket expenditure. That is the thing which mainly said in this article. And today's main question I will be giving in on this topic, that is universal health coverage. Okay, so these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. So before concluding, I want to make an announcement. So we in Rathods says we are going to start anthropology optional batch from tomorrow onwards. And from tomorrow onwards, for next 3 days, we are providing free demo classes from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, try to attend that. And if you want to have this offline demo classes, you can come and visit our academy, which is present on second and third floor above exactly Vikas Book Center opposite sub-register office. And one more thing here is we are going to start new GS Foundation batch from next Monday onwards, that is around December 20 or 25th. So if you want to take admission, you can take this admission as well. So thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this video and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy.